Hey guys. Thank you for your infinite love, guidance, and protection, Spirit. Please use me as a conduit of light to deliver this message to whoever needs to hear it. Learn or teach, be positive about, grow and expand. Jupiter. Ooh. Spill them. There it is. Cherish, enjoy. Charm, art, and beauty are the way to grow and expand. So what this shows me is that we really have to tap into our authentic version. I mean, obviously, that's what we're all here for, right? But that's where the focus is right now. You will be shown the way. And get back to the basics. And what are the basics? Basics are self-love, self-care. And if you are embodying that, you will come into a frequency that really is for growth and expansion. And it will really show you the way. It will really give you this clarity in order to move into that most authentic version, which is full of charm and art and beauty. And that is how you expand and grow. Focusing on yourself, allowing the distractions to dissipate so you can expand, which is why we got Jupiter here. Jupiter is good fortune. It's blooming. Yes, blooming into you, into who you're supposed to be instead of this character that you think you are. This lower version of yourself that people pleases in the Matrix and does what they think everyone wants them to do and is who they think everyone needs them to be instead of just being the highest, most authentic version of you. And if you expand and bloom into your higher version, the result of that is a vibrational match to everything you need. This abundance, this trove of just abundance on all forms, not just in the physical realm, but in the spiritual realm on such a high, authentic level. You love this version of you anyways. You hate selling your soul to the Matrix, to codependency, to a job that doesn't serve you, to unhealthy environments. Whatever you put your focus on and envision and energy into is what you continue to manifest. So when you stay in your comfort zone, where do you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to be in that same energetic space with the same people doing the same things, people pleasing, just really trying to survive. And that's understandable. And that's how we were taught. But this isn't about survival anymore. You've peeled back a lot of the layers. You've done a lot of the healing work. And now it's time to really bloom and embody the most authentic version of who you are through your charm, art, beauty, just being you. And that's how you expand and grow. But when you suppress who you are to keep others comfortable or suppress who you are in order to show up for other people instead of realizing that the best version of you that could step forward is the version that puts yourself first, that lets your own self overflow, your own cup overflow. And so that overflow isn't only into yourself, it's into everything that comes into your environment. So then you can step up into this world and be the best parent, be the best friend, be that best co-worker, whatever it is, whatever environments that you have to go into on a daily or normal basis, you will be giving the most highest version of you then. But then you have to understand, like, okay, what boundaries have to be set? How can I bloom as my highest version, but also show up in the world in this way that is service, right? And that's the paradox. It can be confusing in the healing process. You're shedding all the layers. You're You're really peeling back the layers to create space to move into a more authentic timeline. But in order to do that, you have to get back to the basics so the spirit can show you the way, so you can connect to the highest version of yourself, and the universe can give you those little intuitive hits that you can follow in order to really fully embody this most authentic version that will be the best for you and everyone around you. And it's hard to see because you think that's what you're doing when you're people pleasing and not setting boundaries and showing up for your responsibilities. But really, who is the one that established those responsibilities? Who's the one that established those codependencies? And are they in alignment with the version of you that is of the highest good for you and all, right? Meditation, peace, and serenity. And how do we tap into that most authentic version? Through that solitude, through that meditation, through that peace and serenity, in order to get quiet so we can hear what spirit actually has to say to us. So we can hear what the next step is on the journey that's going to be of the highest version. But if we're so distracted by everything on the external is going to determine what our next step is instead of the highest version of who we are. I love this card. Echo. And when you come into this solitude, like this is what this card shows. It's like a little bunny. I don't know if you can see it very well with that glare. And there's some like glowing butterflies. It's this majestic scene where it's like the bunny is by itself and it's a quiet under a full moon. You can hear everything. And there's this echo of silence, of solitude, of clarity that you get when you're truly in that solitude and space with the universe. That echo of truth really rings through the air. So you're quiet enough to get that clarity you need to move forward in the most highest version, the best timeline for you. And sometimes we get so caught up in the loops of the same timelines. It's very difficult to embody. First of all, it's difficult to get into solitude because you're being pulled in so many different directions, and like a lot of the people pulling you feel very justified in their needing of your energy in whatever way that is. And sometimes that's even being a parent, and like that's a hard one that's a big challenging one to mentally work through, right? Because that's your child, like, right? You're supposed to be there for him. Your child comes first, but really you want to be the highest version of you so you can be the best parent. So it is so critical to be in that solitude, to truly get into that space where you're alone and you can hear spirit and receive that clarity so you can bloom into your highest version to be the best parent you can be, or whatever that is in your life, the best version of you for everyone around you, and most importantly for yourself. One more, spirit, please. Ooh. Philanthropy. Seeking oneness with all there is. Keep your involvement hidden. Interesting. But philanthropy is interesting because once you come into the highest version of you through that solitude and clarity from spirit, that's when the charm, art, beauty, creativity comes into the space, and you get into this place where your cup is overflowing. So you're abundant on all forms and all levels, really. And mentally, physically, emotionally, that abundance is flowing in. And when your cup is overflowing and that abundance is flowing in, that's when you can step into a space of service. That's when you can step into the space of philanthropy. Because, why? Because you were brave enough to get back to the basics. You had enough faith to know that Spirit's going to show you the way. The universe is never going to drop you. It's always going to be there, whispering in your ear. Are you quiet enough to hear it? Are you over there in other people's energy and in other spaces that are kind of being more of a siphon of your energy instead of recognizing that you need to come into this place of self-care so your cup is overflowing and you're able to get out there and serve in the highest way. And I think that's really the message that Spirit's kind of trying to get across here. Yes, you recognize where you're needed and you have that desire to show up, but what version of you are you going to show up in? Are you going to be the burnt out version of you, or are you going to be a version of you that actually can give from a place of a cup that's overflowing because you've already given to yourself? How do you give to yourself? Through that connection with Spirit, through that solitude, through that echo that you hear, that clarity that comes through when you're by yourself, filling your soul with things that are for you. They're meant for you, right? It could be a hobby. Like sometimes meditation can come through a walk. Sometimes it can come just through doing something alone, whatever hobby that may be, even working out at the gym. You can really zone in and hear Spirit. I get downloads all the time when I'm on walks, when I'm at the gym, and it's because I'm quiet, I'm with myself, and I'm listening and being receptive to Spirit. I'm open to it. I'm not thinking about some drama that's been happening. I'm not talking to my friend on the phone. Like, I'm really focused on being connected, right? And you don't even have to focus. Once you get into that solitude, it happens. It happens if you're willing to let go of the distractions. Sometimes we can step away from the codependencies and the distractions and be alone, but our mind is still distracted, right? We're still scrolling. We're still like yearning to reach for a phone or a conversation or a shopping or whatever it is that you do to distract yourself. It's different for everyone. We all are addicts in our own way. We all go and we suppress our feelings and don't face our shadows through different distractions in our life, right? But Spirit's saying, get quiet. Because when you get quiet, you can really sit with those shadows. You can sit with Spirit. And once you finally kind of peel back the layers to the point where it's quiet enough to hear Spirit, to listen to what the next step is so you can flow and really be fulfilled by the synchronicity and the joy of the journey, because you don't know what's happening next. That's another thing. You don't know what's happening next. It's always going to be this trust fall into the unknown. And how beautiful is that? Because if you really recognize how this works, when we come into this life, we see that we have all the answers when we get quiet and connected. Our ego thinks it has all the answers according to what the matrix tells us. Our school system tells us, our pastor tells us, our friends, our parents, our family, whoever it may be, they think they have all the answers, but the only one that has the answers for you is you in connection with the highest version, or you getting quiet with Spirit. That's where the truth comes, because nobody is you. Nobody is this spirit inside this body who's lived thousands of lifetimes. And that's such a unique blueprint. If you only knew how unique and special and important you are, and what a different thing you have to bring to this reality, you would stop trying to fit into the damn box that this world tries to put you in. Because that is not who you are, and it never will be. And that is something so beautiful to recognize, because once you do, you can get really quiet and hear Spirit, and you can hear what the next step is on your journey, and you can tap into the Akashic records. You can tap into previous lifetimes, and you can grab onto those gifts that you used then. This was not the only incarnation where you were a light worker, where you volunteered to come in to help this the collective consciousness expand. This is not the only one. You can reach in and grab those gifts and grab those talents and grab that knowledge, wisdom, and information and bring it into this now to use in order to shine your light today. So if you really understand, I'm not this character. I am so many characters collected over so many lifetimes, and that's a unique soul blueprint where that is so just me. And nobody, my parents don't know that. Whoever else does not know what the highest version of me. The only one that does is the soul inside. And when you really get connected to it, that's when you will start saying, I don't want to embody anything except for the highest version of me. I don't want to embody anything except for what will have my cup overflowing, because that's the version of myself that I want to give others anyways. They deserve that, and so do I. And this world does, and that's what we came here to do. Ooh, I love this reading. So embody your highest version. Recognize when you're burnt out or you're making decisions from a lower version of yourself or from somebody else's viewpoint and perspective, that's their own. And most people don't realize they're projecting that on others. They really do think they're helping. And that's a beautiful thing, to have friends and family, etc., who think they love you so much they want to help, but they might not understand how this reality works. In fact, most people we run into, right, they don't quite understand how this reality works. I mean, we're so low, we are so suppressed consciously that we don't even, I mean, our schools are toxic to begin with, the way the system is set up, but we don't even teach incarnation. Kids don't even know they're just playing a character, and that this is the soul is the only thing that's infinite, and this is just a temporary avatar we're using in order to expand. People don't know that. Most people do not know that. That's how suppressed our consciousness is. And we came here to expose that. So if we don't embody it, then how are we going to expose that? And so that's why we're here, friends. That's why we're here. So get quiet, listen to spirit, follow those intuitive nudges, co-create with this universe, and embody your highest version, because that's what we came here to do. All right, guys. I love you so much, and I hope this reading really touched your hearts, and whoever was meant to hear it is brought to its spirit, because I really, truly believe that if we can come to this deep recognition of why we're here, that's what will be reflected for everyone else to see too. And that's the answer for everyone. That is really, truly the answer. And we came here to be the light so we could show the way. Just like they say Jesus is a light worker, he was just showing the way. He wasn't here to be worshiped. He was here to show that you have that opportunity and ability and capability to really get quiet and tune into your highest version so you can shine that light too. Because your highest version is different than his or anybody else's. We all came here on this mission to be unique. We chose the avatar. Is the avatar and the character important? Yes, it actually is, because it helps us expand in a way that the universe has never expanded before, because nobody has ever been you. Nobody has ever came in with that exact soul blueprint that lives specific lives for thousands of years, like we really have to come into this conscious comprehension of that, because it makes it easier to step into the full embodiment of who we are and who we came here to be. All right, guys, I love you, and I'll see you on the next one.